recharge my energy. I no get time for no enemy. So reach me one day to me. Nothing with person never see. Nothing with person never see. Forget I say bashi.
My father left when I was a baby, and I didn't have a relationship with him. But he had moved back to Uganda, and I felt like as if I had an opportunity to meet him for the first time for me. And I took it, and while we were on break from shows, because we had a few shows in Africa, East Africa, I used that opportunity to go back to Uganda, look for my dad, because it also happened to be his birthday and I wanted to surprise him. And I'd been so addicted to watching, those Facebook videos of families reuniting, and I was like, God, can I get one of those, please? And I was hoping for it to be like this really like euphoric moment where like all my fears lay to rest. No. And it wasn't. I have struggled with my weight from the age of 8. So being overweight was something that, I was bullied about. I've gone through a lot, of abuse because of my body. And I was hoping that my dad wouldn't see that. He would just be so happy to see me. He wouldn't see that, I'm big. But do you know what the first thing he said to me when he saw me? He said, "What are you eating over there?" I was heartbroken. And I was just like, I got defensive and I was like, well, I came from you. So if I'm big, then that means you're big. But okay, luckily I had my sister there, Maria, who was able to calm the situation down.
You've been surviving, you're 9 to 5, and you realize you're working to get through the madness, waiting for favor, eyes on the paper, need a breakthrough, no need for stressing, anticipating how everything's gonna work.
I've been bullied since the age of 8. I was suicidal from the age of 14, Michael. It's one thing for people to reject you, it's another thing when you start to reject yourself. I started to self-reject, I started to self-sabotage, self-harm. It was getting dangerous. And I was walking into the middle of the road. I was doing all kinds of things, But, God saved me through a friend. It was one of my classmates who I'm still friends with to this day. And she does not remember what she said. But the day that I really wanted to commit suicide, she said something to me. Because everyone was used to me being the mother of the group. Everyone will come to me, their agony aunt with all their issues, and I'd help people through them. When it came to me, I used my smile as an accessory. I wore my smile, my bubbly personality, larger than life, personality to cover up. I remember we was in science class, and I was just telling her, like, I just don't know if I'm worth it. I just don't know if She's like, Christina, her name's Rachel Tracy, a school friend of mine. And she said, Christina, how do you expect people to accept you if you can't accept yourself? I'm 14, she's 14, just about to start my O-levels. She does not remember saying it to me, but what she poured into me with those words saved my life that day. Because I was like, oh, wait, what do you mean? So it starts with me because I didn't see it like that. I wasn't shown that. I was shown that I have to please people because, it's the popular girls that get all the attention and all the boys like the popular girls. And, I am overweight and all I do is get bullied and be told how fat I am and how big I am and how ugly I am and how I never amount to anything and how I'm not good enough. So I was self-destructing. I was. And I'm just very grateful that God revealed himself to me the way he did when I was 14. And that's actually where I started ministry. That's actually where I started singing in church choir. And I think I know my relationship from God went to another level, because I was dealing with a lot of anger because of my dad leaving, and just that entrance of rejection for me just really plagued me for many years. In May of 2020, I was diagnosed with bilateral pulmonary embolism hypertension, which means I have multiple blood clots in both of my lungs, and anxiety and depression affect inflammation rates in my body.
Oh.
So it's a long-term condition, to the point where even with flying is different for me. When I was admitted, the doctors were just so confused. They were like, how are you even still alive? Because people die for a lot less. You could have, the way you were still going on planes and stuff, you could have died on stage. On July 31st, 2021, I was physically assaulted by 2 black men. And this all happened just before the O2 Arena show. So I did that show while still recovering from head injuries. As you can imagine, I was a mess. But I had a show to do. So when you look at me, you see a living, breathing, walking, talking miracle. Singing miracle. I shouldn't have been able to do what I did on Madison Square Garden stage, but to God be the glory.
I can play anything for you. I can say what you want me to. I could lie. Sing from your heart, girl. Yes. Cause I need time and I need space. I need to live without your face.
I released my first EP back in 2015 after doing The Voice, because I was a contestant on the Voice U.K. My coach was Ricky Wilson from the Kaiser Chiefs, and it was an experience of a lifetime. It changed my life. I've been doing backing vocals for a while, Michael. I've been doing backing vocals for at least 16 years. I was just so used to just being told what to do, being given a memo, this is what you're doing, this is how much you're getting paid. This is the location, that kind of thing. Now I'm being pushed to the front, and it was so scary. It's one of the scariest experiences I've ever experienced in my life. And, it pushed me to the front and forced me to face my fears, because I had a fear of, people. I was scared of people. Love them, greatest strength, but also my Achilles heel. And it was the opinions, because I really cared what people thought. I had an approval addiction, and I just knew that it would disturb my mental health, and it was a good thing that the Voice production team, they made us see psychiatrists before we even got to the live shows, or to the blind auditions, because you have to be mentally prepared for this. It's really intense, and if you are not, you will crumble. You will crumble. A lot of people were, whilst I was seeing contestants having to leave because, either they, drank too much or they ran away. And I was so naive to the whole situation, because I was coming into this thinking that it's an actual competition and all you have to do is sing your best and it should be all right. But it's TV. So what I could see from that, and I thank God, because, I got through to the knockouts, but then I was knocked out. And it did knock me out, from 2015 till about 2019, I was wearing my depression, I was wearing my fear, and that's why I put on so much weight, and I told you I was 333 pounds. But Michael, if I tell you how I lost it, I didn't go to the gym, but somehow I've lost nearly 100 pounds in weight. Just because I trust God, and because I trust Him, He's now giving me wisdom of how to take care of myself. The journey started with The Outsiders. Actually, way before The Outsiders started. myself and the music director, MD, Emmanuel, we were going to the same church as Damini's uncle, Uncle Tolu, who happened to be a minister of the church at the time. And, you know, his nephew, because he's Burna's biggest fan, like he would play like the album, like before it's even out, and you know, after church you would just see Uncle Tolu's Mercedes blazing, you know, Burna Boy. And you know, it just goes to show, because you know, the support that he is still continuing to give Burna, he's been pouring into him, and I know that if there's anyone that's proud of him, not as much as his mother, but close, would be Uncle Tolu. Because from the pulpit, I was leading praise and worship, and Emmanuel was playing drums at church, and literally said, you know, Burna's having a homecoming show, and he actually wants to get another band, but I want to give this opportunity to you. And literally we did the first show with him at Hammersmith Apollo in London, 2016, on Nigerian Independence Day. I believe it was the 1st of October. And he, you know, we did the sold out show with him, and we've never looked back.